Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. Just going to give it a little more time to make sure everyone's in the webinar before I fully begin the presentation. All right. So this webinar is going to be covering the topic getting started with the Vtiger Social Module. I am Matthew Costello, a customer success consultant here at Vtiger, and I'm extremely excited to be showing this new feature off to you all. Our main goal with this feature was to bring social media management into the CRM itself. And I really want to dive deeper into sort of what social media has become recently, and then go into what the feature is, its benefits, and then give a live demonstration on the feature. So before I jump into the agenda, I do just want to say thank you for joining. So you can chat with us or ask any questions during the course of this webinar. I do recommend you use the chat function you should see at the bottom of your Zoom screen to reach out. We do have some of our support members in this chat who can help answer any questions you may have during the course of this webinar. I will also leave 15 minutes at the end of this webinar for a live Q&A session. So if you want to wait until the end, I can answer your questions live at that time. And this webinar is also being recorded, in case you're wondering. So once this is over, we will send you a recording of this webinar as well. So the agenda for today, I do want to cover the influence of social media and social listening, which is a topic that kind of has become a focus for us at Vtiger. I want to cover what it is and why it's become so important to us. Then I will go into an introduction of the social module, its benefits, the access and the support for the module itself, and then jump into the live demonstration of the module within the CRM. So the influence of social media has kind of become very noticeable over the last decade or so. Currently, there are 4.8 billion users of social media globally. Keep in mind, there is some overlap between social media options such as like Facebook, Twitter. So this doesn't account for overlap, but that is still a very large number of people on social media. It comes out to about a little over 50% of the population itself. And those users do generally spend about 2.5 hours daily on average on social media. Now what this means, so if you're using social media to market your products, to reach out to your customer base, it can help do a lot of things for your business. One is it can help increase your brand awareness, which is always very tough, especially for newer companies. You want to get your brand out there, and social media is a great platform to do so. It can help increase customer loyalty. So if you do actually keep track of what your customers are saying and you respond in kind, customers will become loyal, they'll feel heard. Your customer perception. So this is tricky because customer perception isn't how you frame your company, it's the opinion your customers and other people have about your company. And this can be built off of course, the content you put out, but it can be created based on what they hear from other customers. So having a strong social media presence can really help build a positive customer perception of your company. And of course, with social media, you can really increase your customer touch points, whether it's on the sales side or on the support side. To give you some statistics around this, so especially on the customer service side of things, currently 80% of companies do plan to use social media for customer service. And of those who have, 71% have had a positive customer service aspect to it. And those 71% do end up recommending the brand when they've had that positive interaction on social media with a company. On top of that, if you're focusing more on the ROI of actually engaging with customers on social media, those customers who have been engaged with do spend about 20 to 40% more money with those companies. And nearly 1/3 of people on social media turn to branded social pages on Facebook to ask product questions. And this kind of leads me into the next topic, which really has become a focus for us here at Vtiger, which is social listening. Social listening is when you do track your social media platforms for mentions and conversations related to your brand, competitors, and more. And you might be asking, what's really the difference between this and just social media management? Well, with social listening, there's an additional aspect to it where you don't just follow what's being said on these social media platforms, you actually act on it. So for example, say you're a local coffee shop that's recently opened up, and you've kind of been seeing all these posts people have been putting about social media, going to your shop, and there's a lot of positive things being said about the coffee that you have and the presentation of it, but some poor feedback on the variety that's available. Based on that, you actually can be proactive and create a plan to add more variety to your drinks, whether you could add some different flavors. But that action that you build off of just listening to what people are saying on social media is this what this concept is. And I kind of want to build further on why this is so important. So there is sort of this idea that it only takes one bad experience to really lose a customer, but it can take 10 to have one actually represent your brand publicly. And customers do go to social media to share bad experiences. 80% roughly of customer service related tweets are negative, and 90%, 96% of unhappy customers won't tell you, but will tell 15 friends about their disappointment with you. So what social listening will allow you to do is to find those 96% of those unhappy customers that aren't reaching out to you directly, but you can still notice them, find them, and even respond to them on social media, which can kind of turn around that negative experience. And that kind of goes into the next point, where a fast response can help that change that negative to a positive. At this point, 79% of consumers do expect brands to respond within a day, especially on social media. And answering that complaint on social media can increase that customer advocacy by 25%. There is still a positive aspect to it, where 59% of customers do message brands on social media when they have a great experience. And those customers who do feel engaged will spend up to 40% more, as mentioned earlier. So this outreach that you can have with your customers on social media can have a huge impact on your company. And this sort of brings us to our social module. So what the social module does, it lets you manage your social media accounts from within the CRM. At this point in time, the social module currently supports Facebook, Google, Twitter, and Instagram. And the one you might be a little confused on is the Google point I made. And by Google, I mean Google My Business. And if you're not familiar, Google My Business is a free and easy to use tool for businesses to manage their online presence across the Google platform, which includes search and maps. And I'm sure you've run into this before. If I don't know, I ran into it the other day when I searched for Japanese food in my area. A number of companies came up, and when I clicked on them, their Google My Business page comes up with their reviews. I can see the star rating, and I can see questions and answers related to that company. So that's what that page is, and that's what we support an integration with through the social module. So what will using the social module actually benefit you and your company? So the biggest one is it does allow you to bring all of your social media interactions into one location, which is within the CRM itself. And I know a big issue with people that are managing social media accounts is that you spend a lot of time switching between tabs and social channels, especially now when there's just so many different options. And with everything in the same area within the CRM, it's a lot easier to plan your social media marketing strategy, because you can do so within the CRM and see your posts that are scheduled. You can see the ones you have made, and see sort of the response you're getting on those. And when you're doing that, you can really help increase your social media presence. On top of that, through the CRM itself, you can quickly interact with your social media customer base. So how do you get access to the social module in the CRM? Well, to start off with, the social module is free until February 1st, 2022. And you can download this from the add-on store, which you can access by going into the menu, and then you should see the add-ons button in the bottom left-hand corner. And it is available in 4 editions currently of the CRM. You have the Marketing Starter, Marketing Professional, the One Professional, and One Enterprise editions. And these all have different amounts of social media accounts you can link to them. So the Marketing Starter only has 3, marketing professional and one professional have 5, and the one enterprise has 15 social media accounts you can link to the social module. And so now I want to jump into the live demonstration of the social module and really show you what it can do in person. But right before I do that, so once you have just added in the social module, this is actually the first page you will see. And I wanted to show this before jumping into the instance I have set up, because we already have everything linked. But you will see this page when you first add the social module, and you can quickly link your accounts through these options. So let's jump over to my live instance of Vtiger here. There we go. So the first feature I want to show in the social module is called the social inbox. And this is sort of a hub for all of your incoming posts, mentions, and reactions, and it shows them in sequential order. So if you notice here, the first few are from our Google Q&A for our company, where there are some answers that have been given. But if we scroll further down, you can see there's a recent post to Facebook. Even further down than that, another question was asked on our Google My Business page, and then another post was made to Twitter. And on these posts as well, on the ones you have access to interact with, you're able to do so from this page. So on this tweet, I could directly reply to it, and I have other actions. I will actually go into these later when I go into the individual posts here, but you do have full functionality on this page as well to interact with the posts you see in the social inbox. And on top of that, you actually have the ability to filter between social media accounts you have linked. So if you just want to see the most recent ones from Twitter or Instagram or Google or Facebook, you can select the one you would like, and you can click apply. And it will pull up just the ones from Facebook, and you can go through those. The next feature I want to show before I jump into the individual ones is actually composing a post within the CRM itself and the social module. So once you have these accounts linked, you can actually create a post that can be sent directly to your social media accounts. So the first step to doing so is selecting which account you want to send the post to, whether it's Twitter, Google My Business, Facebook, or Instagram. Of course, you can also actually create one for all 4 at the same time if you'd like. Then you just insert your message, upload media if you have any, and then you can actually create a call to action. And what that does is it creates a button here, which you can add the URL for. And when it's clicked on the social media post you've just made, it'll actually take that person that clicked it to the URL you've added. For this, I actually do want to demonstrate what creating a post will look like. So we actually have one that we did plan to post today for our Facebook account. So let me go ahead and create that for you. I should have it. Sorry, that's the Zoom registration link. So this is actually a social media post we have for our Vtiger Enrich feature. So first I add in the self. I have a link in there, and we have some hashtags. And I do actually have an image I want to post here as well. Pictures. And upload that. And if you notice, everything I'm adding is actually being reflected on the right-hand side here. This is a preview of what the post will look like once it is actually posted to your social media account. And this one, for this one, we actually will not have a call to action. So I remove that. Just to give additional context, you might have noticed this small icon here. This is actually the word limit for the social media account you are posting to. So Facebook has a 2,000 limit for what can be added. The other ones do have, Twitter's a bit smaller, and the other ones have varying limits as well. So you do want to keep that in mind when you're creating these posts, especially if you're creating posts for multiple accounts at one time. The same thing is for uploading media. There are limits as well. You can view those best by hovering over the eye icon right there. So viewing the post, we can see everything's looking good. The image is in there properly. So then what we can do is just go ahead and click the post icon in the bottom right-hand corner here. once it is posted, if we go into the Facebook icon here, we will see our new post that was just made. Before I jump fully into these sections, I do want to jump back in here because there's one feature I haven't really shown yet. So that was how you can post something directly to a social media account. But if instead you want to plan posts for the future, you can schedule posts actually by clicking schedule post. You can, I don't have anything selected yet. Sorry, I might need to reload my page real quick. Pull that up. I apologize. This is something I'll get a development team looking into. What this should do is pull up a calendar and then a time option where you can select the day and time. We can schedule the post. We'll have that fixed by this evening. So what you do when you schedule a post, they'll show up in the scheduled post section here and actually have the date outlined at the top and the time of when they'll post. And these are in sequential order. So going back into what all of this is, so what this page is, all the posts and mentions are related to each of your accounts. So the all posts section is, as it is, it's all posts. And what we've really tried to do for these is we've tried to match the look and feel of each individual social media account you're using. So here in Facebook, you'll notice that there is the like option, there's the comment option where you can comment on the post. And this 3 dots actually pulls up some additional options for you. You can directly edit or delete the post. But you can actually link this to a contact in the CRM if there's one that is related to this post, or if there isn't one yet and you want to link a contact or even a deal or a case to this social media post, you can do so as well from these options here. And the final thing here I want to mention is this option called Create Comment Stream. To kind of show you what this does. So let's create the comment stream for this post. Wait for it to load. And if you'll notice, there's actually a new individual column here now for this individual post on this page. So if you're expecting a post to have a lot of interactions with customers, you can create this comment stream and have it show up here so you can follow it directly without having to scroll through all your posts on Facebook. And to delete a comment stream you've created, you can just click the delete icon in the top right here. And it will remove the comment stream. And that does not affect the post at all. It just removes the comment stream itself. Going into the mention section. So this is when your company itself is mentioned in some way, or you're mentioned by someone on social media. Those posts will show up here and you can interact with them. And on top of that, you can see who has commented, who has liked, and sort of interact with those posts. And this is a great way to really see what's being said about you as a company, and even see who's reaching out to you, maybe with feedback, whether it's positive or negative. And the final one, I've kind of mentioned this one already, but any post you schedule will show up in the scheduled post section here. The time that they are scheduled to post will appear at the top. So this is a great way to keep track of what is scheduled, especially if you have multiple people handling your social media accounts. And you can, of course, reschedule or delete those posts or that have been scheduled. Moving on to the Google My Business section. This one is very similar to the Facebook one. The interactions are slightly different. So you're not able to actually interact with the posts themselves that have been labeled on Google My Business page, but you can still link contacts or add contacts directly or add a deal or add a case that's related to these posts. So it'll show up in the CRM and your team can interact with it after that. And the scheduled posts will also show up in a similar way here. Twitter, once again, has a similar format. The biggest one here I do want to point out is that we have tried to emulate the options that are available in Twitter down below each tweet. So here you have the option to reply directly to a tweet. You can retweet it or quote the tweet. You can like it directly, and you have the same options as before, where you can link it to a contact or add those records related to this contact in the CRM. One thing I do want to point out, so that's liking it, but if you click the number itself, you can view who has liked it, but you can go even further than that with these. So if I click on the profile, it'll pull up their Twitter profile, and you can actually view their additional tweets related to that profile. So you have a lot of transparency available within the CRM itself for Twitter. And mentions works in the same way as it did in Facebook for Twitter, and you can interact with them as shown. So this show tweet option is if the quote was replied to, or even if it was quoted itself. If you just click that drop down for the show tweet, it'll show what the initial tweet was. Instagram once again works in a similar way. This one does come with some limitations just because of what's available to create. So on the posts, you can see the likes and you can see the comments. You have the option to see who liked. In the same way, you can create comment streams for Instagram posts and link those comments or link those contacts or create those records. But yes, the liking and the commenting, you can actually still comment, but yeah, liking, you can't directly like, and you can't actually see who liked aside from just the number of likes a post has. This next section, reviews, is a pretty important part of running your business on social media. So both Facebook and Google offer business pages for your company, and on those, customers can review your company. So here on Facebook, we can see the Facebook reviews we have received. And here, so that we got some feedback. You can see, of course, who liked it, and you can view the comments. So these work similar to the posts that were available in the Facebook section. But here you're seeing the reviews that you received for your company. And Google My Business works in a similar way. So here you can see your reviews. And with Google My Business, you do have the option to respond once to each review that was given. Here you can see our responses that were given to these recent ones. If I scroll a little bit further down, you see we have the option to reply. And of course, you can link and create records on these. And we do actually have an additional filter here, or for these reviews, where you can filter them based on the number of stars they have given for the review. And you may have noticed this drop down up here. So this is available if you do have multiple locations or multiple companies and you have linked to multiple Google My Business accounts. You have the option here to select between those accounts you've linked. Right now, we only have our main Vtiger CRM account linked here. So this brings me to search streams. So search streams are going to play very big into the concept of social listening I mentioned earlier. To give you some background, we have a couple already created here. So if I go into the Vtiger CRM one, sorry, it seems to be loading a little slow here. All right, sales CRM. What you do is you list out hashtags, or you can list actually a company itself that you want to have any tweets, or this is for Twitter and Instagram, any tweets or Instagram posts that do have those hashtags or have that company itself and the post related to that. To give you an example, so let's say I want to create a search stream for a competitor we have. So I want to create one for Salesforce. Here I would select the first account I want to create this search stream for. Pull those in from that company. Hashtag keywords work in a similar way. So if I want to just view every post that has the hashtag Salesforce, so let me get that in there again. Got to make sure you select it. You can add that. So you have these options: contains any or contains all. Contains any just means if just one of the hashtags you've added is in a post, it will pull that into the search stream. If you have all selected, that means every single hashtag has to be available that you've listed for it to be pulled into the search stream. Same with the does not contain option. I'm going to keep this pretty simple and just leave it at Salesforce and go ahead and add the stream. Here. Let's try switching between stream. There we go. So here you can see that these are the tweets that have the hashtag Salesforce in them. So you can really keep track of what people are saying about maybe your competitor, or again, if you just want to do the example I gave earlier, if you want to do local coffee shops that you knew the name of, you could add those as a search stream as well. A big one here is, because right now we only have Twitter added. If you wanted to add Instagram as well to view them side by side, you just go back to the one you created, select the account, and you can just add the channel to the existing search stream. And what that does, it will pull up the Instagram search stream side by side of the Twitter one, so you can view them at the parallel to each other. So you can see what people are viewing or saying in both platforms, which can differ because there is actually a difference of users and age between the two platforms. So yeah, this is a great way to really keep track of what people are saying about your own company, what people are saying about competitors, and maybe even your industry in general, instead of having to just scroll through the general pages of social media itself. So one of the final sections here is questions. So Google My Business does have the Q&A section available for your company, where customers can ask questions related to your company and you can respond to those questions, but also other customers can respond to those questions as well. So here you can see a few examples of these where someone asked what are the working hours, and we responded in kind. You might notice a couple of these here where there's one that's actually given by a customer and then one that we responded to directly. So these are similar to the Google My Business posts, or not posts, but reviews, where you are able to give one answer for a question, but customers can continue responding to questions asked outside of those responses you give. And the one final section I want to show here is this Manage Accounts button at the bottom. It will show all of the social accounts you have added, give you the option to add more accounts, and manage the ones you currently have here, where you can disconnect them or remove them entirely. But on top of that, you have this option to create an automation rule for your social media accounts. And so this can help you automate your process quite a bit. I do kind of want to walk you through an example here. So say every time you get negative feedback on your social media account, you want to create a case for your support team to follow and follow up with. So what we can do is just call it negative social feedback. Here we select the trigger. So let's say every time someone comments something negative, we want to have a case created. So here we just add in the keywords. So let's say someone is displeased, maybe they're unhappy. I'm sure there's many other keywords we could add here, but I'll keep it simple with those two. And then let's say we want to create a case for it. So that's all you would need to do to add this automation. And so every time those keywords show up in a comment now on the Facebook automation, so any Facebook post, we see those comments, it'll create a case for us. And this can be created to also create contacts. And these automations are available for the other accounts you've linked as well. Some of them do have limitations on what you can create as an action, where Google My Business only allows you to create cases, just because the contact information that can be pulled from Google is limited. But Instagram, once again, has contacts and cases that can be created, and Twitter is similar. So that's really a rough breakdown of what the social module has available. Let's jump back over to the presentation here to sort of finish up the webinar. So today I did fully focus on the social module with the integrations for Facebook, Google, Twitter, and Instagram. But there is so much more in the CRM that we want to talk about, and we're looking forward to doing live webinars in the future. So please do let us know what you want to see, because we're very excited to show you even more about the CRM. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. There is our website link there. There is a live chat available on our website and within the CRM itself if you're already a customer. And you can reach out to our email address and either our phone number as well. Yeah, once again, thanks for joining us. And I will leave 15 minutes now for an additional Q&A session. So if there's any questions you want answered live, please reach out with them. Oh, thanks, Victor. Thanks for joining. Yeah, for questions you would like answered live, please don't hesitate to use the Q&A section, as those are easier for me to access. So someone asked, where is the install again? So the install, you do have to have a certain edition of Vtiger first to have access to the install. So you need to be in the Marketing Starter, Marketing Professional, or the One Professional or One Enterprise edition. If you're in one of those, you just want to go into the menu button, which is the blue square in the top left corner. And in that pop-up menu, you should see the add-ons button, which then is in the bottom left. In that add-on section, all you need to do is search for social, and you should see the social module label for download. Yeah, in the pilot version, it would not be available currently. Someone asked if we have the ability to duplicate a post so you don't need to remake them. Sadly, we do not have that feature currently, but that is a great suggestion. I'll bring it up with our product management team to have that added in the future. Yeah, currently, someone asked if Vtiger Ranch can we manage in a similar way to our LinkedIn account. So currently, we don't have this full integration with LinkedIn. It is in the works, but we don't really have an ETA when it will be available. Vtiger Enrich does allow you to add new leads directly from your LinkedIn account. We don't have this full functionality available for LinkedIn yet. Vtiger Enrich is the most we have available currently for LinkedIn. Yeah, there are currently limitations in numbers for search streams. So you're able to have 5 search streams at one time. And there is the addition of one more limitation when it comes to Instagram. So Instagram on their end has a limitation of only 30 hashtags being available to use between any integration you have, between whatever accounts you have integrated with Instagram. So you can only have 30 hashtags for Instagram and use at one time. So that is another sort of limitation to keep in mind when you're creating these search streams. But beyond that, there aren't any additional ones. Someone asked, they mentioned they already have a marketing agency doing all of the social media strategy, and they use other tools. So what would be the benefit of doing these on Vtiger? So one of the biggest benefits, and as I showed in the live demonstration, you actually have the ability to link these social media posts or mentions to existing contacts in the CRM and actually create new contacts in the CRM and create cases from these social media posts and mentions. So if you do have a support team that follows up with social media posts that uses Vtiger instead of this social media strategy company, using this social module would help immensely with reaching out to your customers on social media and follow up and building your customer experience.